all the time, and it's disgusting.
Mm. Yeah.
But
Right.
enough on the
So here we are
politics.
again. Here we are again. Just two old farts talking rubbish.
Yeah,
I
talking
just, I just
rubbish.
had my dinner. I had a nice bit of fish with lime and coriander rice and Chinese mixed vegetables with sesame seeds. It was very nice. What about
Nice.
you? What are you having for dinner today?
I don't even know what I'm doing. Um, so like you seem to have an international palate. What's your favorite type of food?
I don't know. Whatever Lisa's cooking.
What cooking?
I'm really like not fussy when it comes to food. Lisa says, "What do you want to have today?" And I say, "Whatever you want to do, babe. I'm fine. I'm easy."
Well, I
I'm
mean,
not
if you
actually going to
go
cook
out to
myself.
eat, what's your preference?
I don't go out to eat. I can't afford it, mate.
All right, well that makes sense. But
So
or
occasionally,
if you could, um,
okay, well, we'll have a Chinese every now and again. Probably Chinese is the biggest treat, probably when it comes
yeah,
to my honest. We like a nice fish and chips now and again. Like fish and chips is always a nice little treat. Simple, like simple dinner, but very tasty. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Chip butties, and a couple of pickled onions to go with your fish and chips. And yeah, it's just a nice little dinner. It's not as fucking cheap as it used to be though. It used to be like cheap option. Like every family in the neighborhood would go on a Friday night to the chip shop. And it was
yeah.
like, fish and chips for the whole family. But now it's almost as much as a bloody Chinese to get fish and chips, which
It's
used to be the more
ridiculous.
expensive option. But now it's not much difference because of various taxes and inflation and you know cost of everything. It's sad, but what can you do? What
Yeah.
can you do? I hope you got some comics to show today because I've got bugger all to show.
Oh, I'll get around to them. I don't have them out here where I'm smoking yet because they're all pretty much golden age. But
Yeah, have you still
well,
got your drag racing going on this week?
no, I don't think there's going to be any this weekend. I think they're all done with the testing and things. I think the next thing is a couple weeks from now. It's one
All
of the
right, so
things
is
I
that
look
it's not
forward to in
like
the winter. It just all goes
it's not that
quiet.
regular then. It's not that regular. It's not like every
No, only
weekend
when they have
or
special events. Like in the summer,
right,
something's going on every weekend. But the basic cars, they could run all day, and we'll never hear the basic cars. It's when they pull out the big boys.
right. Yeah, the
The
big engines.
Yeah, the big boy,
Mm,
and they don't they come around. They test every once in a while, and then they run the U.S. Nationals here, and that's noisy. But on the whole, no, I just
yeah,
never hear them. I mean, they run major motorcycle races there, and it doesn't sound like nothing but traffic in the distance.
yeah. So other than plumbing issues and medical issues. How's everything else? How's the wife and the grandkids and the children
Your
and
home
the birdies that you
issues.
feed?
She's got it's not even arthritis or bursitis issues going on. Trouble with her feet
Uh,
and ankles. You know, she's on her feet all day working,
yeah,
and then that just does a punching bag on my ego because I'm the old school guy. I'm supposed to be the breadwinner, and she's
yeah,
supposed to
yeah.
only have a job if she needs it.
That is very old school. That's not really been how it's been for decades now.
I mean, I
Those days
want
are well
I
behind
want
us.
her to have her independence, but I do not want her
Mm,
having a 60
no,
hour work week because
but
she has to.
but the days when a fella can go out and earn all the money to pay for everything, I think are long gone. It's like
Long
there's no
gone.
family. I don't think there's any unless you're in a massively well paid job. There's barely any sort of working class families who can afford to live on one wage.
And I've walked away from every 6 figure plus, massively well paying job I could have had. I just coldly walked away from
Yeah, well, no point worrying about it, mate. Because as they say, if some butts were pots and pans, we'd all be tinkers.
them. Yeah. Well, I mean, it
You
just
know?
it's like going out to war and stuff. You know, who needs the stresses back at home if your wife's got to sit there and worry? Is he going to come home alive today? Is
Yeah,
he
of
gone a
course.
week? Is the week going to turn into 6 months? Is
You,
he
well,
going
you,
to
let's,
be
let's,
dead?
let's just look here. Every time you had an option, you had like an offer. You've weighed it up, and you've come to the decision that was right for you at the time. So there's
Yep.
no point, worrying about it now. Things have
The only
happened.
part
Things,
about it that bothers me now is that's all I'm skilled at. You know, M- real money making wise, that's all I'm skilled at. The other things I'm skilled at are nickel and dime work.
mm,
You know,
I ain't skilled at anything, mate.
why did my specialty have to be? so
Soldiering.
stupid. Because I had a death
What is your specialty? In fact, is it soldiering? Would you say is the specialty, or just security, or what was it?
Well, it all goes hand in hand, but I could have been mercenaries get paid fat money. I mean,
Yeah,
huge amounts of money.
dangerous life though.
But you get paid for the severity of it. So the more you make, the more dangerous your life is. You got to have a
I'm
death
sure you
wish.
have to make a lot of morally ambiguous like decisions as well, which probably ain't in your. I don't know. You always struck me as a very moral type. You
Well,
wouldn't
and
want to
I
be.
try to
You
be.
know what I
And
mean?
then, the older you get, you turn into training these guys. Well, who wants to train somebody in something you don't believe in?
Mm.
And again, it'd be nice if you could say, all right, well, this country needs this, so I'll go there. It doesn't work that way. This is where the
No.
money is. This is where you go. You end
Yeah.
up training guys that you really
And the
don't
people
want
who
to.
employ you are normally the bloody well arseholes of the linking the world, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're the ones with the money.
Yep.
So you're there to help them crush the little guy,
Yeah.
basically, helping them protect their nefarious interests.
And I'm all about protecting the little guy, so I'm on the other side of it.
Yeah.
There's no money in that. There's no, and there's nothing in that other than personal well-being.
What's
But
that box behind you? Is that a taste of Indiana? Does that say?
yeah,
What's a taste of Indiana about? Is it like
it's a goodie box that had like stuff from Indiana companies in it to
food
drink,
stuff?
popcorns, candies, and stuff.
Okay.
It's a specialty thing, and when we got our new water heater and stuff,
Have you got a steak dish?
that was a gift from the people because we use their business, and it's like a $75 to $100 little basket thing they send,
Well,
and
it's
that's
like
in a
gift basket.
that's a sturdy ass box. So I just kept the box.
Mm.
I mean, it's like
Have
double
you got
thick.
have you got a steak dish there in Indiana?
Huh?
A steak dish, like a steak specialty.
Nah, corn on the cob. Just
Is
typical.
that
Just typical Midwest shit. State Fair elephant
right?
ears, stuff like that. Just nothing too fancy about it. The best foods of Indiana are global.
What's the state motto?
Fuck if I know. It's on the state flag, but it's just it's underwhelming. The Midwest is for people that were going out west that didn't feel like going any further.
Right, so it's a stop-off point, was it? So whether they just
Yeah.
stopped and said that's enough, ain't going no
Well, I
further.
mean, a lot of it was settled by Scandinavians and Germans and the kind that
Oh,
drifted
yeah,
up.
yours is the Hoosier state, isn't it? What the hell is a Hoosier anyway?
I still don't know.
No, fair enough.
I still don't know after almost
Your
60
motto
years.
is Crossroads of America.
That one it is. I mean, I'm
Mm.
going to tell tales because I don't give a fuck anymore. In 1989, actually the end of 88, I got in on some intel stuff, and mind you, this is going on 40 years ago, so who knows if it's still legitimate. But I got into some intel paperwork, and I saw a strategic strike map for the United States from the Soviet Union during the Cold War.
And they said Indiana's not worth the bombs, yeah?
The top three, which no one would ever guess what the top three are. No one would ever guess what the top three are.
Somewhere
Well, they
that
would,
provides
but
a lot of energy.
huh?
Somewhere that provides a lot of energy, like one of your dams or something like that.
Nope.
Washington, I'm guessing, because that's where
Yeah,
most of your politicians
that was
are.
number two. DC was number two, which
You'd assume
was basically just a moral strike. That's a hit the heart of the government, even though everybody's going to be underground.
they'd all be in bunkers anyway.
Yeah,
Up
they'd
in
all be
is
in
it NORAD?
bunkers when it hit. But number one is SAC NORAD, the missile base center in Colorado, which again, it's very little. They destroy satellite stuff.
Yeah, they would have launched all the missiles by the time they got there.
but they're buried in bunkers and stuff like that. But it would knock out
Hmm.
the communications and things like that. Indianapolis was number 3.
Indianapolis, that's your city, isn't it? Of
Was number
Indiana.
3, and
Well,
it's
what's the
and
significance of
that's
that?
actually the town, and that's actually the state motto too. The Crossroads of America. It's
Yeah,
to
it's the
cut
state
the
motto.
supply
Do you
chain
know
in
what your
half.
Do you know what your state anthem is?
I used to. It's stupid, but yeah,
On the banks of the
Indianapolis was number 3 to cut the supply chain in half because a
your
massive railroad thing runs through here. When it hits Indianapolis, it connects the east to the west and the north to the south, and we're
right.
centralized. Where other ones branch off in Indianapolis, it octopuses. Where there's other small branches. In Indianapolis, it octopuses. It's the main hub. And I was stunned to fucking see that. I was like, get the fuck out of here. We're above New York. And again, the big population places being on the strike list is just to population heads.
Right, can you see that?
A little
Oh, actually,
bit.
I didn't share the volume. Let's get rid of that. Start again. I'm gonna play your national anthem. Oh yeah, it's already done. Let's see if it works. Right, can you? So your national anthem is your state anthem on the banks of the Wabash or
Wabash. On the banks of
Wabash,
the Wabash, yeah.
far away.
On the banks of the Wabash, sung by Harry McDonough, Edison Record.
You know this one?
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever start?
You know who sang that at the Indianapolis 500 every year? For like 50 years?
Round my
Can't hear it anyway. It's not playing.
homestead wave of the cornfield. In the distance, loom the
Rapid
woodland
song, isn't it?
clear and cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be playing either. Not properly. Oh, I'll stop that.
But
So
yeah,
who sang it at the Indianapolis?
huh?
Who sang it at the Indianapolis?
At the Indianapolis 500 for almost 50 years, you know who sang that?
Yes, I do. I think it was a guy from a TV show, wasn't it? Like one of your old hokey 50s TV. I read that somewhere. Was he a gay bloke? Was he a gay bloke?
Yep.
And
Jim Neighbors, Gomer Pyle, USMC.
Homer Pyle. I don't know why I read that recently. I read that a little while back.
Indiana's so narrow-minded, but they had a gay man fly in from Hawaii every year to sing that. But I mean, a lot of famous people come from Indiana and things like that because people drift out to the coast and become movie stars, but they all came from the Midwest basically to go that way, and then New York cabaret stars trickled in from elsewhere. Very few of them are homegrown. So Indiana's got a long list of famous people. But
I told you I was doing I do a metal podcast. I did an American theme show. I played a band from every single state of America, including some of the territories like the atolls and stuff like that. And like if London, the city of London, was a state in America, it'd be like the 13th most populous state because most of your states are like tiny. Your state's only got about 6 million people in it.
yeah, a lot of them are real small.
Yeah.
Of course, Indianapolis has 1 million people in it, but I mean, it counts the suburbs that I'm dancing in. But
yeah, I think it's like 6.5 million in the whole of Indiana. So
yeah, there's not a lot.
No, 6,785,528. He says.
Yeah, and 1 million of them are within driving distance to me right now.
Yeah,
like
so much open land there, isn't you?
Huh?
Did that never sort of like interest you, like being one of these survivors, like go and take over your own ghost town and live out in the wild? Is that never anything that?
That's
I can
my
see you that kind of
independent
there. Spirit.
My dad did that, when I gave up the property my dad had. He built a place out in the country out of railroad ties and lived off the grid, and he was a borderline survivalist. But I mean, he was just anti-big city and stuff. But all the people that grew up during the race riots and stuff like that, they just wanted to get the hell out of the city. You know,
Right.
they watched the gentrification and how it played out, and my parents fully understood that it's not these people's fault. They could see
Yes.
clear as day they're being pushed together to cause friction instead of just opening doors. Of course, here goes a military helicopter overhead randomly.
Oh.
But they both wanted to get out of the city because they just messed it up. I mean, they just, instead of just opening doors and, letting things occur, it's like, let's see how we can push, let's cause problems.
Yeah.
And then poverty will bring out the worst in humanity. And then you force these people into poverty, and then society acts surprised when they lash out. It's like, well, no shit, you'd lash out too
Yeah,
if you were
exactly.
forced into poverty.
Exactly, yeah. It's not a good thing, is it?
That has
You give dog
nothing
enough
to do
times,
with
eventually
it.
it'll bite you.
Yeah, it literally has nothing to do with race, but they forced it on a race with slavery. And then they're like,
Yeah.
oh, it can't be that bad. It's like, seriously, how can one of these idiots that live by me go, if 3 generations of your family were put through this, what would you be doing? How could they not understand that?
Exactly. Mm.
How can you understand that? Well, that was that long ago. That was not that long ago. I was alive in the civil rights era. I was alive. So that means my generations before me were alive in the bigger parts of that shit.
I read some fact the other day. The last Civil War widow died in like 2020 or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't as early or late as that. I can't remember the exact year now, but
Well,
it was a lot
it's
more
not
recent.
maybe 2012 or something like that. But
Yeah, it was a lot. It was like a lot more recent than you think. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I mean, if they were like 16 years old and
yeah,
say
it could have been Kentucky.
18,
There might have been 12.
Yeah, or 12 or whatever in 1865, and they married somebody, and they lived 100 years. Well,
yeah.
now granted, I mean that would have been the 60s, but yeah, I mean it's
I've
literally.
read a fact. I can't remember the actual.
I knew people that were affected by the Civil War.
Yeah.
In my lifetime, that's almost impossible to wrap my head around. But I knew people that were affected by it. Not in it, no, but affected by it, yes. Children. I knew children of Civil War veterans. I knew children of, that kind of strife. I knew children of slaves. I should never have known children of slaves. Granted, they were decrepit old people, but they were children of slaves.
I've just looked that up, what I was just talking about. And although she wasn't alive, I don't think, during the Civil War, she married one of the people who was in the Civil War. So she was born in 1919. So she obviously must have been a young wife to an old soldier from the Civil War, I'm guessing. I don't know. That can't be right, can it? I don't get that. If there's a widow, you assume that means that they died in the Civil War.
The guy would have been like 60. If he was 60,
maybe
she was 20. May December romance. So, just
all were born in the 20th century and married their husbands while the women were still young and the men were in advanced age. There you go.
Yeah, and
for
whatever reason.
Yeah, he says this practice was not uncommon.
I don't begrudge people as long as they're not perverts. Once the woman clears 21,
exactly.
I don't care if the guy's 100. I don't care if they're going for his money. If they agree,
as long as both parties are willing, there's no coercion. But it says this practice was not uncommon at the time due to the possibility of receiving pensions as dependents of Civil War veterans. So it's kind of like a monetary thing.
I actually have one of those upstairs. I actually have a pension letter from 1893.
Cool.
Or a request for pension in 1893 to a Civil War vet from their family. It's one of my treasured possessions, and it's like, it's gross because, again, it's been that way forever. The masses do not want to take care of the herd like wolves do. A wolf pack, the leader walks in the back to make sure no one's left behind. They put the weakest in the middle so they're protected from all sides. One's in the back, two's up front. A couple of heavy hitters are in the middle protecting the weakest of them, and that's the way it is, and that's the way humanity should be. And you can't make them do it because they're too damn greedy.
Yeah, mankind is far too selfish.
Just far too
selfish. Selfish,
You know,
greedy, and tribal.
when I worked in the human services field, it was on full display. A lot of these kids came from the richest families. I mean, Special Olympics was started because of the Kennedy family. You know,
Right.
how many people know that one of the Kennedy siblings was MR? You know, they just buried it under the rug. You know, and they just had these institutions, and they're like, you know, and that came from inbreeding. There's no two ways around it. You know, these families.
Yeah.
But the wealthiest of them were the shallowest, and they just dumped their kids off on other people and then complain and complain and complain. And again, I get it. If people can't handle something, I totally understand it. You say, I need help.
Yeah, if it's available.
But you take the help, but you don't cut the people out of your life. You take care of the elderly, but you don't cut them out of your life. You know, you don't go Soylent Green. Maybe we're not eating these people yet, but
let me show off my Supergirl comics.
And hopefully Bill checks in from San Diego here if he can get some signal.
Yeah. So I finally got around to reading my Supergirl. I finished the run a while back, but because my read pile was so big, I've still got to start on the Defenders. Once I read the Supergirls, I think I'm going to read the Defenders next. So because I've got to a space where I've like anything that comes in after is can wait.
What are you going to do when it comes to Defenders 116 to 118?
Read them.
That's an issue by issue crossover with the Avengers. That's Avengers 116 to 118. Avengers or Defenders 9, 10, and
yeah. I mean, 11. What does it cross over with?
Hey, it crosses over with Avengers 116, 117, and 118.
Oh, I'll have to do with that because I haven't got them. I might read them online. I know where I can read them online.
9, 10, and 11. It's the Thor Hulk one and stuff. But the stories actually run parallel. So yeah, you'd have to read it online because like before you get to between issue 9 and 10, you got to read Avengers 116 and you know.
There's quite enough sayers talking about back in the 20s. Yeah, the streets of Sheffield stunk of horse manure. The same with every big city, though, wasn't it? I heard New York was the same. The road, and also in London, there's something called the Big Stink. It's like it was a really hot year, and because like the Thames was full of fucking crap that they threw in there, and whatever dead animals and anything they threw in the Thames. And because it was a really hot year, it really, really stunk. The whole city stunk, and people barely dared to be there. And that's what prompted them to employ someone to make the sewers. I can't remember the guy's name, but he ended up making the sewer system because before that, they never had anything sensible like that.
Well, you could be walking down the road in the old days, walking down the alley, and somebody be dumping their pot.
Exactly.
Dump it right on your head.
They empty the privy out the window. Right, so here's my Supergirl run that I've been reading.
So she is stronger than Superman, right?
Not as far as I'm aware. Not in this era, I don't think. No. Is the current Supergirl supposed to be a bit stronger than Superman? I'm not too sure.
The original concept to her was she was supposed to be actually stronger than him.
I've not read it anywhere. I've not read that anywhere. So I don't know if that's come from anywhere. In fact, she kept being in the habit of losing her powers at various times in her adventure run.
Well, yeah, when they're just too overpowered, how are you going to beat them?
Yeah, she's not really showing her powers a great deal. She's not used like super strength match, but this is just your typical like old 70s run. It's quite daft actually. It's quite silly.
Yeah.
I think she falls in love with a different person every bloody issue. They're good fun.
Romeo, well, I said too much already. A friend of mine, hey there, fun with comics and toys. That run in the late 70s, I had an artist friend from DC at that time. God, I love that ridiculousness.
Yeah. Follow
I
me,
had a
soldier
friend
ants.
at that time. They said they were literally trying to draw camel toes on her for every
Oh, you
cover to
told me.
get away
Yeah,
with
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
And
no
if you
sign of that
see it
here.
all blacked out, that's why.
But I was thinking of like doing a talk about maybe doing a video, but I can't bother because no one watches my videos. It's like it's hardly worth the effort. I keep getting ideas of doing stuff, but when I think of how many people actually watch my videos, it's like, what's the point? I stick to like doing like 1.5 minute really easy videos rather than ones that cost me any effort. But this is quite weird. They introduce her to her. She goes to a new college, and they introduce her to her roommate in this very first issue. Yeah, and she's got a mystery surrounding her. She's got some artifacts look like alien sculptures or something. She's also got psychic powers. I can't remember what her name was now, something like Mandy 5 or something like that. And literally, that they introduced her in this issue 1. I'm now on issue. I just finished issue 8. And they've not mentioned her again. They've not mentioned this mysterious roommate ever since the very first issue. And it's like, did they just forget? Did they just forget that storyline or something? Did they?
Or
And
they
she had
swept it under the rug. Because again, and JM will tell you this, they work it in there. Or like if her name was Mandy Fine, that would be one of the writer's girlfriends at the time. And
maybe.
they'd have them draw it like, have her with dirty blonde hair and color
So
this.
to look a
And,
bit like the girlfriend kind of thing. No,
yeah. And
Wonder
just
5,
throw
her
them in
name
the
was.
book.
Wonder 5. And she also had like it looked to me like she had a couple of other rooms in a adjoining room. One was a black lady, one was a Chinese lady. But in the next issue, it suddenly becomes an Israeli lady instead of the Chinese lady. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like did like Carey Bates not like pay attention to what he'd written in the previous issue or
Well,
something?
they're sitting around smoking pot going, oh, I got a deadline. What was
Yeah,
that again? And they're smoking pot with their editor. He was going, yeah, that works.
but there's literally no further mention of this Wonder 5. I need to just check. I'm sure she had an Asian like next door neighbor in a
But
flat.
you
And
know where it's going to come back up again is somebody that reads old comics is going to reintroduce the character and put some crazy backstory on him.
probably. Oh, there they go. Yeah, yeah. Look, there you go. There's her next door neighbors in the apartments. Sheila Wong and Terry Blake. By the next issue, suddenly Sheila Wong has become Sabra, an Israeli woman.
Speaking of Sabra, she's in the new Captain America movie, so Hulk 257 is going to go through the roof.
I didn't know there was a new Captain America movie.
Yeah, that's the next one, February 25. You haven't seen the trailer to that yet?
No, is it with Falcon?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to see the trailer. I mean, I'm not spoiling anything because you know who's president, right?
What in that film?
Yeah.
No. Who's president?
Thunderbolt Ross.
He's president.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know they had to replace him because Bill Hurt died, so they replaced him with Harrison Ford.
Okay, he's Thunderbolt Ross now, is he?
Well, you
Does he
know
become
who
Red Hulk?
Thunderbolt Ross in the comics is, don't you?
Yeah, it's Betty's dad.
Who else is he?
Hulkbuster. Yeah, he's Red Hulk.
He's Red Hulk.
Yeah.
He's in the trailer. Red Hulk is in the
Red
trailer.
Hulk is.
In the
Okay.
trailer.
Interesting. I was just thinking the other day when they're going to do another Marvel movie because I've not heard anything for a while. I know they've got the Deadpool one.
There's the Deadpool one
tomorrow.
this week, and then 3 TV series. The new Agatha Harkness one's coming up in a couple of months.
That's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Which again came out in the latest Deadpool trailer where he's going.
Okay. Well, I'm probably not going to get a chance to watch any, especially the TV show. I've missed so many TV shows because they're always on channels I don't have, and I can't bother to like buy a channel for like a week just to watch a blinking show. So I'm just reserved or whatever the phrase is to not seeing them.
I'm gonna have the hardest time this week. I'm gonna give up on missing spoilers from the Deadpool movie because there's no way I'm gonna be able to go to the theater this week. You know, my wife's
No.
a miracle worker, but I just don't see that happening.
It seems like every trailer, though, seems to have shown most of the movie now. It seems to be throwing out trailers
No,
left,
they
right.
have never shown more than the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Still,
They kept all the surprises under wraps. There's only one that snuck out, and if anyone's surprised by that, then they don't know
right.
comics. You know, because they did. Like when which was it, the Flash movie where they had stuff going on in the back from the Batman TV series and stuff like that. Apparently,
Yeah.
they have a moment like that where Wolverine and Hulk are going towards each other.
Okay.
Where they pass by something, but you know they were going to give a nod to that.
Well,
They
they
were.
like to give little Easter eggs, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, and it's just, and if I don't think they made any kind of plot point out of it, but it's going to be an Easter egg. You knew it was going to be an Easter egg in there, but no, they did not give away squat. So I can't wait to see it. But again, it's just fan service and laughter and see what they're going to do, where they're going to go.
Yeah, it's not going to be serious. It's just going to be a bit of fun, isn't it? Really, like the last ones were.
Yeah,
They're all
I
right.
mean, and this much I know: the post-credit scene is. Everybody said it with their no spoiler things. The post-credit scene is a yes, you must wait and see it because it carries into the next phase of things. It's relevant
Right.
to the future. Whereas to this is kind of into itself, exactly what they say it is. They're poking fun at the old Fox universe and merging, and Disney has a movie, R-rated movie, where they say fuck, but Disney's been behind hundreds of R-rated movies, but they weren't the main distributor; they were the financer.
Right.
They just didn't want their name on it, but they were the financiers. Like, well,
They got the profits out of it still.
Yeah, if we're gonna make $100 million, put it out, put it with Skydance Productions, give us our money, and we're good.
We went to the cinema this week, first time in ages. I think the last time me and Lisa went to cinema was like Dread or something like that. We don't get out much, but we
For
saw that
Red?
Long Legs. Yeah, Dread.
Oh, Dread.
Took it 10 years ago, the last time we went to the cinema.
One of the best comic book adaptation movies ever.
Exactly, absolutely. It should be on like the fourth of the franchise by now, shouldn't it?
Yeah, that just Carl Urban can almost do no wrong. And then, they were all uppity about Stallone doing his version of it where they didn't want him in the helmet, but he doesn't take the fucking helmet off. It's about the character. It's
Exactly.
like Mandalorian. It's about the character, not about who's under it. But yeah, he owned that. I mean, like Watchmen, they nailed that. The Crow, they nailed that. The top 5 best comic book adaptations aren't ever going to be any of these huge ones. To me, one of the top 5 ever is the Dolph Lundgren Punisher. They didn't veer off the comics with it. It wasn't the best, but it was boy, for a comic book adaptation. It's like they nailed it. Nothing too fancy, nothing too fine. Just goes around, did his stuff. It was kind of absurd. People died, but I'd put that old Punisher movie above almost the entire MCU and DCEU.
I really
because they
enjoyed
do
the
unforgivable things. I will never understand why the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man webbing came out of his wrist. I will never understand that. I will never. Has nothing to do with nothing. It made for a good joke, but it's like, that's not Spider-Man.
He should have fired webs out of his ass.
Yeah, because what made him interesting was he was such a smart kid. He developed it where they pointed it out with Tony Stark, with Tom Holland. They got it right. They're like, well, how did you do this? Well, I figured it out. Well, you're really smart.
Yeah, I didn't mind the more recent Spider-Man movies, but the fact that Iron Man was sticking his nose in there like constantly, it was like he kind of lost him as being like the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He became more like Tony Stark's protege more than anything, didn't he? It's like, it was all right. They were okay, but yeah.
But at least they were honest to Spider-Man, and I don't think any of those Tobey Maguire movies were. They just weren't. You know, he didn't shoot webbing out of his wrist, and no, they just changed it too much. Yondu, I love Michael Rooker. God, I love Michael Rooker. Michael Rooker is awesome. I couldn't recommend his movies enough, but he's not Yondu.
No.
And
They made him a
Yondu's not
space
Michael
pirate
Rooker.
instead of a space priest. He was like a priest kind of guy, wasn't he? He was a religious order. He was like a monk.
Yeah, and he was an Indian. He was a
Yeah.
They really strayed, you know. And again, I love Michael Rooker, but I would have rather seen him in something else, you know. Just there's you know who would have made it great? Yondu? Fucking Daniel Day-Lewis. The guy could pull off Last of the Mohicans, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's what I'm saying. It should have been somebody, not a tough guy, but a wily guy, you know. And Rooker's a punch in the face guy, you know. So they changed his yak arrows. I get that. But it's like, you know, poor casting. But everybody loved it. So it's like, so be it. But everybody loved that Raimi Spider-Man. But I was like, well, just keep making movies. But Jesus, come on, get the guy right.
I think with the Guardians of the Galaxy, because they weren't really that well known by a lot of people, I think it was stood in them in good stead. You know what I mean? So they could take liberties, because not that there wouldn't be so many people saying, "Oh, that's not what so and so would do." You know what I mean? So the diehard stalwarts like yourself who knew them that well, you know.
The one they really got right was Rocket.
Right.
They nailed Rocket. They just nailed Rocket. The rest of them, meh. You know, Zoe Saldana is Gamora. Get out of here.
Does Groot go around saying "I am Groot" in the comic books?
From what I've seen recently, sort of, but you know, they needed to expound on that. They just needed to, you know, they knew he had limited vocabulary and people could understand it, but I mean,
I don't even think about it. The Guardians of the Galaxy, none of the guys in the Guardians of the Galaxy were Guardians of the Galaxy when I read the bloody well comic books. I'm sure there was no.
And when they actually showed him at the end of Guardians 2 at Yondu's funeral, where they had Charlie 27 and all them, they never expounded on it. You know, Martin X. You know who plays Martin X, don't you?
No.
Michael Rosenbaum.
I don't understand him. Who?
Michael Rosenbaum.
What's he from?
He's Luther from Smallville.
Okay, I never watched Smallville, so okay, fair enough.
But, you know, they got Martin X right, but again, he has like a half a speaking line. They got the Charlie 27 size right, but he doesn't have a speaking line. And then they made Starhawk fucking Stallone. Why? Yeah. Why? Just why? You know, and the guy was obnoxious, and Starhawk's just a flighty, godlike creature, you know? Just why would you put... You talk about a person that would have made a brilliant Starhawk, but they're even more brilliant in what they're playing. Cumberbatch.
Okay.
Oh, my God, I bet Cumberbatch would have nailed Starhawk. Because, again, I mean, he played Alan Turing, and basically that's Starhawk. You know? That flighty character, but Cumberbatch, oh, my God, he is Doctor Strange. He owns that.
Quite enough says asking you if you saw the Batfleck, Ben Affleck.
I did not dislike that. It was a little campy. It was a little stupid.
I didn't mind it. It was actually. I saw that at the cinema. I thought it was decent, and like Michael
the playground fight scene was a little silly. Some of the stuff was a little silly, but no, it was great. I had a chance to get one of the candles where they started fighting in the church, and one of them red. Crusted tea candle. I had a chance to get one of those in the auction house and passed on it like an idiot. But no, I thought those were good. Those early 2000s movies were good.
Yeah, I didn't mind that.
Good. They weren't great, but they were good. They were great popcorn fodder. But they pointed out stuff with Daredevil. You know how to the minute he's struggling to take off his outfit and he's all bruised up and he's sinking in a sensory deprivation tank, which is exactly what he'd have to do, but he's popping painkillers and he wakes up like where he's got to control the overwhelming senses. So he turns everything up to 11 to hone it out. You
Right.
know, that was brilliant to show that.
Okay, I forgot.
That was
It's been a while since I've
brilliant
seen
to
it.
show that.
It's been a while since I've seen it, so I've kind of forgot all that. But there you go.
And then again, and I said it before, and I'll say it again. There will never be a better Kingpin than Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah,
You
he had the
didn't need
size, didn't he? He had the size and the
CGI
attitude.
or anything. He's just so big. He looked like he
Mm.
was about to rip somebody in half. And that
Yeah.
guy could emote. He could emote. And I love
He definitely fits
D'Onofrio.
the role.
D'Onofrio's great, but D'Onofrio's not a monster.
Hasn't got the physical imposing stature
Yeah.
as Clark Duncan. He looks he plays the menace well of the Kingpin, and
Yeah.
he acts well the role, but for physicality he doesn't quite have it.
I mean, it almost takes CGI to get that, and if you're not going CGI, then you need the biggest, that like
Well, even
Thor
Clark Duncan doesn't
Half-Fortson or
compare to
whatever
the
that
comic
guy's
book
name is.
Kingpin. Comic book Kingpin is not possible. There's no one with that blinking. You have to take Akabono, the Japanese sumo wrestler, and turn all his flab into muscle,
Yeah.
to get anywhere near Kingpin. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you almost do have to CGI him. But again, if you're going to do it, get one of these just behemoths of men.
Yeah.
And Clark Duncan just owned that. That's why I didn't even care. They're like, well, Kingpin, Sony's Hulk was, but not better for. Yeah,
I
it
don't
was a
remember
little.
who.
Sony's Hulk killed me with the dogs. Even if that was out of the comic books, it still
Was that
killed
the Ang
me.
Lee? Was that the one by
Yeah,
Ang Lee?
yeah. And then they made his dad Zax, which was a little silly.
Well, in the comics, blinking Zax was Thunderbolt Ross at one point.
Yeah.
Zax took over Thunderbolt Ross sometime I think it was in Peter David's run.
Yeah.
I believe.
But no, I mean, and grossly underrated is the Norton Hulk movie. I thought that was fantastic. But my Hulk will always be in Thor Ragnarok.
That had Abomination, didn't it? The one with Ed Norton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which again they got halfway right and then kind of screwed around with She-Hulk. But that Norton one was really good. But Hulk, they need an entire Hulk movie the way Hulk was in Ragnarok. Or they need him in an entire movie like that, Like in Avengers, he was mildly like that, Best line in the Avengers movie, Puny God, hands down. That 2-second snippet of him just pounding Loki and then walking away going, Puny God, I stood up and applauded. And then seeing him in Ragnarok like that is like, that is my Hulk. Where there's a brain in there, it's not that advanced.
I still didn't get why he blinking turned into a coward after he got beaten up by bloody Thanos, and how he didn't just get madder and stronger. He's like, and they never explained it either, did they?
Well, they did
Avengers?
a half-assed job explaining it, but I mean, that's the dichotomy of man. They just tried to pigeonhole that in a movie, and
I didn't make it. He was sulking or something stupid like that. I can't fucking remember now.
Well, there should be a whole movie built around that whole, mental anguish of what Banner went through. What did I do when I was the Hulk? The guilt, the beat down, You want one issue of the Hulk to know what the Hulk is? It's Hulk 250. That's the Hulk. You want one issue to know who the Silver Surfer
what
is?
happened in 250?
It's Hulk 250. It's
what
brilliant. It's a brilliant story where it shows Banner just the self-loathing, and why, and he's got all this caged up anger, and then the Hulk, there's innocence there and protectiveness, and then the Surfer comes and there's nobility, but he's like, I'm going to break free from this planet. And he drains the Hulk's powers.
All right.
And he breaks through, but then he's watching Banner fall, and Banner's happy he's going to die. He's going to die. He's happy. Surfer goes back in, saves him, gives him the power back, saves his life. And Banner's like, why did you not let me die? You know, and Surfer's like, you know, I gave up my chance to go home because I'm noble. It's one of the best comic books ever written. The art's Sal Buscema, it's good but not great, but the whole book itself is standalone books. It's top 5 and always will be, because it's like, damn, that's crazy. That tells you everything you need to know about the Hulk and Surfer in one book, and that's hard as hell to do. You know, and that is one incredibly complex character that is a straight up rip off of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. They've never made aspersions to that. It's, you know, yeah, this is our version of that.
Yeah.
You know,
this like archetypal characters, isn't they, kind of thing. It's like it's hard to invent new characters nowadays. You know what I mean? It's something that hasn't gone before.
Everybody's Gilgamesh.
In some way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's Gilgamesh.
I used to love the old
TV
Hulk
show was too vanilla. That was cute kid stuff.
Yeah, but
it's hard.
That came out when I was a kid. That was compulsive viewing when I was a kid. That was must see television.
Yeah.
You know.
But again, it was just kiddie stuff. You know.
Yeah.
It was borderline cartoonish, and
yeah.
You know. Probably. But again, they did capture it. They did capture his struggle. You know, that you would not like me when I'm angry.
Yeah.
I'd rather walk away. But if you're going to push
and
me...
you did have the poignancy of him having to move on after the end of every show, never being able to settle down, never being able to find the cure. I thought that was dealt pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, that was well done. For what they were working with at the time, that was well done. But yeah, but then it was just silly because they show Ferrigno running and you watch it now. And he had them ballet shoes custom made to his feet that were painted green. So
did he? I don't remember that. That was
he'd never tear up his feet running down a rocky road or whatever. But.
No. Yeah, but it was just like literally him painted green, wasn't it? That was the limit of their special effects in them days. There was no CGI or anything like that.
And Thor in that was the silliest ever. Daredevil was cute, but that Thor was straight out of Adventures in Babysitting.
That was the movie, wasn't it? Was it the movie where they had
the TV movie? Yeah,
TV movie. I don't think I've seen the whole thing, but I've seen bits of it, like the stills or whatever. Yeah, it was kind of silly.
I got it on video in there, but hell, if it wasn't Region 1, I'd just send it over to you. You can watch it all day, but it's got region settings, so I'd send you my copy of it.
Oh, don't worry about it.
I can get it. I got it for like $3. All right, well. Kill airtime for a minute. I'll go grab these comics and take a break from smoking for a minute.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to show one of my videos. And why not? I'll play one of my videos.
Stand up.
Yeah. Let's play this one.
Easy way to a tough surfboard. Hey! Look who's riding the big one! In tandem! It's Dave! What's happening? Last time I saw him, he was a boardless hodag, like you and me. What gives, Cut Daddy? How'd you dig up the coins for this mean hunk of wood? A custom job, and I'm doing well to keep myself in smokes. If you think it looks good, wait till you try it. Not now, Dad. Too windy from the smoke. I'd do well to paddle out through the breakers. You'd do well to quit burning up your pocket money on cigarettes. I did, and banked the cash instead. You're looking at what it got me. And man, I never get winded now. Makes sense. I'd trade a smoker's cough for a board like that. Let's give it a try. Maybe in a few months. Smoking doesn't pay. 5 cigarettes a day cost $32 or more a year. 10 cigarettes a day cost $64 or more a year. 20 cigarettes a day cost $128 or more a year. Why risk your health for cigarettes?
Created by Jack Kirby from comics from DC. The greatest ever stiffest you'll ever see. They bristle with it, chasing blood to stop them from doing no good. But when time's a crisis all about, extra gonna summon up. Change.
Hi, mate.
Hey, I meant to tell you when I shared that other one with you, that poppy version of that. Yours is more well suited for Etrigan.
Yeah.
He is
Yeah,
definitely a metal character.
yeah. It was kind of like a madrigal, wasn't it? Like an old medieval kind of folk thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was kind of folksy there, but people listen to it. But that just randomly came up on my suggestions and cracked me up. I was like, well, there you go. That'll do that. But, those, you can almost go through every character and say what kind of music would be played in the background for them. And Etrigan's definitely heavy metal.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to think of other ones who would be pure. I mean, how would Batman not be heavy metal? I couldn't imagine him being anything other than. Well, since I had to pull down all my trade piles, wanted Mark to see these, but never thought I'd see the day. This is on the for sale pile.
Nice.
And the brilliance of that is, this is Marvel Tales 124. This started out Marvel Comics, became Marvel Mystery Comics. This is the original run of Marvel Comics.
What's that worth nowadays?
Probably $500-$600.
Yeah.
And that's in rough, shoddy shape. I mean, this thing's a 2 on a good day.
Let's do a search. Let's do a search. Marvel Tales 124, was it?
Yeah, 1954. Probably between $200 and $500 in the condition it's in.
Yeah, there's none on my comic shop. None at all on my comic shop. So no one knows.
Like, they'll have estimates out there, but honestly, the estimates mean nothing. Last sale at that price when it goes back years. So never be. I mean, that's just, those are insanely rare.
See, I can have a look on eBay.
And higher grade ones are out there. But yeah, you look up Marvel Tales 124 and it pulls up the Spider-Man series from series 2.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't even know about that one. I put a year in, maybe it will come up.
1954. Keep hearing things that almost sound like rain might blow in, and if that's the case, I got to go pull fans out of the windows because I can't have my air conditioner on right now.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be any on eBay even, so that must be quite rare.
Yeah, I mean, they're just, they're impossible to get, but I mean, that's just a thing of beauty. Even in beater shape, chipping, chunks.
At the tombstone.
But it's all there. It is attached at the Staples.
How long has that been in your collection for?
That's hundreds, but these go down a little bit. And again, I had this in my trade pile with Mark, but I just didn't sell them. Here's the impressive thing about this. Issue number 12 is Strange Tales.
Strange Tales number 12.
And again, chewed up, but that's almost all you're going to find. Lots of marble chipping. Strange Tales 48.
I've got to hide. The man who stole a skyscraper.
That would have been a good skyscraper one. Spellbound.
Stories that hold you spellbound.
And again, Atlas pre-code horror, this stuff is just impossible to find. Being choked out by his own arms. And the brilliance of this. Blondie, believe it or not, Jungle Jim, they don't even get a they don't even get a header on the comic. This is a single digit appearance of the Phantom.
Oh, the Phantom.
This is like the 8th or 9th appearance of the Phantom in comics.
Okay.
So, and it's the month after, it's dated like the month or 2 months after Action Comics 1 hit the stands. But the Phantom predates Superman by 6 months.
Right.
But that's October 1938, which means what? August. This was out in the summer of 1938. Whoop-a-doop.
Weird science.
Nice Feldstein EC.
Nice cover.
Nah, this was a random one there, so I grabbed it. 1963.
Ant-Man becomes Giant Man.
The very first appearance of Giant Man.
So it became Giant Man before the Avengers?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, now, yes and no. This is between issue 1 and 2 or 2 and 3.
What, of Avengers?
Because this is November of 63, and I think Avengers 1 was like September, and 2 was like October, and 3 was in November. So I think he's Giant Man in issue 2 of the Avengers. But he started as Ant-Man.
I didn't know that. Didn't know he became Giant Man so quick.
Then I grabbed this one because of Bub on Saturday's show. Let me triple check this again.
Was it one he showed or similar?
Well, he talked about a date stamp.
Oh, yeah.
Huh. And I stand corrected.
Not as early as you thought?
No, it's earlier. I thought it was 1948. I have a 1945 date stamp.
Prize Western. Dusty Baloo.
I thought this was 1948, but it's not. It's 1945. It's a little smear there, but that's when it's from. And then about these date stamps, like, yeah. See, they have months on here.
Yeah.
And we all know that the months are 2 to 3 months ahead on the thing. These dates were when they're supposed to be pulled off the shelves.
Yeah.
They get them a couple months prior, and then they date stamp it for the day to pull them. So a date stamp is actually when to pull it off the shelf, not when it actually went there.
Yeah.
All right. How many times did Superman appear in EC Comics?
EC Comics?
Yeah. And not Superman, and not a joke, not a gig, not a fake.
I didn't know he appeared any times in EC Comics. Is it an advert or something?
EC Comics, Comic Fidential. Can Superman really leap tall buildings in a single bound?
It's got Dick Tracy on it as well.
Yep. Dick Tracy, Smiling Jack, Walter Winchell. But yep, there is Superman proper in an EC comic.
Interesting. What year is that?
51, I think.
Okay,
I don't know. Let's see if I'm gonna. I think I have to move the tape on this one because it's not gonna roll back. Oh, 1955. Thought that was earlier than that. Oh, the Comics Code Authority's on there. What am I talking about? Sitting here thinking it's pre-code. CCA's right there on it. 19 and 55.
Okay.
Again, not in the best shape. Kind of a beater reader copy, but the fact that it's Superman in an EC comic in 1955. Which, how old was Superman in 55?
17?
17.
I think.
I was a teenage Superman. And then slightly post-code, 1955, Tales of Justice Atlas. Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby Atlas.
Strange Stories of Suspense.
1956. It's a beater, but again, 1956. This needs a serious clean and press. Cleaning the press and get it up to about a 2.5. I think this now is my oldest. No, it's my second oldest DC comic because I forgot to grab out my Boy Commandos.
Funny Stuff #1. Summer 44. The Three Musketeers.
Yep. A wartime DC. And again, that's what I'm trying to remember. This was on a trade in black for a long time. Again, impossible to find. That's issue #1, A Little Iodine.
Okay. But who's collecting them nowadays, though? That's the trouble, though. It's finding someone.
I had a buddy in New York that collects them, but again, I had these on trade blocks, and I had to take the trade blocks out. But again, a Golden Age first issue from, I think this might be 58. No, this is 50. I'm thinking backwards. That's 19. I'm screwing up the years bad on this stuff. So yeah, there's a 1950 issue #1. So speaking of wartime, I'll straighten that out later.
Blue Bolt.
Volume 4, #12.
It looks almost like a newsprint. Is that a newsprint cover? Rather than a comic book print.
It almost looks like it, but it's not. I mean, there's a little wear and tear on it and stuff. But again, this is a wartime comic. Oh, no, I take that back. It is the wartime paper cover. Yeah, July of 44. Yeah, that is a paper cover. Why did I think there wasn't? Look, it's Captain Tootsie Roll.
Oh. I'll have to make a video of that one.
1944. Dick Cole Wonder Boy. But this is Joe Simon's pet project. This is Joe Simon's side project.
Yeah, you know what's going on. You're right.
And I'm trying to remember, but I'm pretty sure this Novelty Press was a side project of Marvel. Somehow, some way, they're attached to Marvel. Again, 1940s first issue rarities. 1949.
Little Aspirin. Some weird bloody well titles.
Little Aspirin #1.
What is it? What is it with little and medical things? Like aspirin's like a headache tablet. Iodine's for cleaning wounds. What is that trend of little followed by like medical related?
And the rarity of the Marvel
Marvel
Comics bullet, because there weren't many of those. And look, it's dated 3/11/49.
Wow.
That's a date stamp as well, just handwritten. Again, not technically a defect. As long as it doesn't poke through the paper, it's not a defect.
Okay.
Now, you want something crazy here. God, tell me that's not rain rolling in. I checked the weather earlier.
Little Aspirin and the cook catcher. A detective without a badge.
18 different comic books available at Dairy Queen.
No, but seriously though, why is there little aspirin and little iodine? What is this trend?
Pharmaceutical obsessions.
Yeah, they give it out at drugstores.
Yeah, given out at drugstores, candy shops, and stuff like that. And look at the condition
That's
of
not why they
this.
were called little aspirin and little iodine.
I think this is 1951, but I mean, it's somewhere in the late 40s, early 50s. Disney had a lot of those giveaways. You know, they'd just be promotional stuff. They were in cereal boxes and stuff like that. My favorite Golden Age comic that I owned, and probably the oldest now, the one I've owned the longest since I gave away my first Golden Age book.
Oh, surprise comics.
Number 6.
Number 6.
And it's a single staple.
Oh, yeah. What's the rabbit character called?
1943 Marvel. A whole bunch of Stan Lee creations. Ziggy
What's the
Pig,
rabbit
Silly
called?
Seal,
Yeah.
and Super Rabbit. You know,
Super
and again,
Rabbit.
this is an absolute beauty. This is probably between a 7 and an 8 as it sits right now. And yet, even though it's a wartime Marvel, between a 7 and an 8, probably not worth more than $500. And then this has one of Kurtzman's first Hey Looks in it, and it's a later issue of Atlas Funny Animals. And it has one of Kurtzman's earliest Hey Looks. Yeah, when they gave Stan Lee his own titles, this is the shit that he wrote.
Well, he chose those characters.
He's created it. That's his anthropomorphic creations.
Yeah.
Ziggy Pig and Silly Seal. Stan Lee wartime books. And then I guess I'm going to let go of this. Marvel's second romance comic, Marvel Bullet, issue number 1 of Our Love.
The Guilt of Nancy Crane.
So, again, just rare Marvel Bullets. And then these two just happen to be with him. Jack Kirby's Silver Age Romance, or Atom Age. This goes into the Silver Age. This kind of predates it. That
Some
came
of those
out
romance
the same month as FF2.
Some of their romance book go for big money.
Yeah, this came out the same date as Fantastic Four #2.
What was that Marvel number? Our Love #1, was it?
Our Love, yeah.
Again, it's not on my comic shop. They haven't got one.
Well, they're not going to have them.
No.
They're just not. There's so few of these. Now this,
super rare.
save for the mild defect of somebody putting their own stamp on top of it, which again isn't that technically a defect. But this is at least a 6.0 of 1943 Captain Marvel.
So, something like that just counts as dirt, doesn't it? Just counts as being dirty or grubby or something.
So, but yeah, All Surprise official title. But yeah, and these are just going away. I mean, I was going to hold on to them forever, but you know. They're just going away.
Around.
But look at that. Look at that. Would you believe that's a wartime comic?
Look
at it. No defects.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Single
And again,
staple.
Dead giveaway. Single staple. And look at the tightness of that. And
What issue number is that?
80-year-old comic. Captain Marvel Adventures number 42. Christmas issue.
And that's
I think that's the Christmas 1943.
That's your Marvel Adventures 43?
42.
42.
From 1943.
Yeah. So I've got one on eBay. It's a fine, it says. It's $175.
Really? Did it look that good?
I've not looked at the actual pictures of it. Let's have a look.
Because if it can be got for $175, it should be got.
Looks like some creases on the front cover. Looks like he's got some creases on the front of his face.
If that's fine, then mine's a very fine near mint. Yeah. But again, that's only that stack right there. I'd probably let go of for less than $4,000 all total.
He does look decent.
Let me go look at something here.
You can take it off if you like.
Yep. Right when I went to go look at the clouds. I'll be back in a few seconds. I have to pull some fans out of windows.
All right, well, I've got nothing to show, so I'm just going to play one of my old videos again. Because why not?
The policeman is your friend. Any of you guys see my dog Spotty? I can't find him anywhere. I tied him up outside my house, and he got loose. Here comes Officer Perry. Why not ask him if he can help you? Oh, go on, Tom. Policemen just fight crooks and stuff like that. You'd be surprised. Remember when little Arthur was accidentally locked in the supermarket last summer? And Billy's sister got stung by a bee in the park and had to be rushed to the hospital? And how about the time Officer Brown helped evacuate the children in the gym fire? Officer, Pete's dog is missing, and has he got long floppy ears and spots all over him? Yes, that's him. Where is he? I just brought him over to the police station, Pete. He nearly got run over a couple of blocks from here. See what I mean? The policeman could be your friend in more ways than you realise. Published as a public service in cooperation with the National Social Welfare Assembly, coordinating organisation for national health, welfare and recreation agencies of the US. Danger! Prejudice at work. Gee, Pete, where's all your old gang I met when I visited you last summer? Oh, some moved away, but a lot of new kids moved in here too. Yeah, and they don't look like our kind. Huh? Come on, Sam, the game's going to start now. Caramba, that's hitting them baseball. Get that, can't even speak English. Oh, brother, there goes your game. You probably can't hit a ball either. Oh, lay off, Sam. Give Louise a chance. Strike one. What'd I tell you? Gee, you sure got a bunch of lemons moved into this neighborhood. Wow, a homer! That's hitting them baseball, Sam? I told you, just give him a chance. Pete's right, in more ways than one. When new folks, kids or grown-ups move into your neighbourhood, give them a chance to be friends and good neighbours. Published as a public service in cooperation with the National Social Welfare Assembly, coordinating organisation for national health, welfare and recreation agencies of the US.
That's enough of that. Where's Carl? I need to upload some more videos. Well, I can play the others, but I can't bother. Anyone got any questions they want to ask? Not for you, babe. Not for you to join in, babe.
Why?
Because you're not on my stream.
You're possibly.
You can shut the big gob. Oh, no farting again like you did last week.
Very far.
Every week.
Yeah, maybe.
Wonder Woman and the Baron. The Chocolate Baron, a crook whose love of chocolatey goodness has led him to monopolise everything chocolate he can control. Robot plane, circle the island until I need you. Soon I'll control everything that's chocolatey, and the great taste will be mine! All mine! By Hera, I plan to stop your nefarious enterprise, and your bullets won't stop me. I came prepared. Wonder Woman herself! Get her, boys! Hostess cupcakes! Oh, so chocolatey. Chocolatey cake, chocolatey icing. You and your henchmen were easily taken, Baron. Taken with the chocolatey taste of Hostess cupcakes. Your magic lasso compels me to speak the truth. You get a big delight in every bite of Hostess cupcakes. Hostess is a registered trademark of Continental Baking Company. Copyright 1980, Continental Baking Company.
You back, Carl?
Yeah.
There he is. Here you go. Quite enough, sir. Wants a cupcake. Chocolatey cupcake. Chocolatey. Yummy, yummy. I'm busy working on new videos. Let's have a look. You can see that. Oh, you can't really see it very well. I'm working on a Casey the Cop. Can you see that? Casey the Cop. There you go. So I chop all the panels down into the correct size for the YouTube video. I stick them all on my Animotica video package. Do the backing track, the sound in Audacity, and then put it all together and upload it, and 4 people watch it. It's a lot of
That
work.
rain kicking in afforded me the luxury to switch out my laundry, get these
Change your
windows closed. My wife's probably blowing up my message right now saying close the windows.
Is it raining?
But, yep, the rain kicked in.
Okay.
Most of it was pushing north of us, but apparently one of them squeaked out. So
Okay. That sounds interesting.
since we got the plumbing problem and the air has to be shut off, and it's like almost like 90 degrees outside, had to have fans in place. And when this kicks in, I take them out, and later on I'll put them back in. But I was able to switch out my laundry, put my comic books upstairs again.
I don't know what's happened to Bill. He kept saying he was coming in this week, but he hasn't.
Well, he
showed up
is an
yet.
hour behind. He's
So
an
you
hour
just
behind
forgotten.
logic-wise, so he might be thinking we're just now coming on.
Well, I don't know how much longer we go for. You got some more stuff to show. Otherwise, we're going to do about 10 more minutes and call it a night.
I'm not fishing out no more comics right now. So.
No, you've shown them all. Okay, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring out, because again, I just want to sell it. You know, that's like I said, I could take in a couple of grand off of that stack. And I always wanted to hold on to those to pass them on and things like that. Well, now I can't. Now I have to let them go and pay my bills. I'd rather take care of my kids than pay my bills. But now I'm going to let them go to pay my bills, you know.
Yeah.
And I figure if I work on fair market value and then work out a purchase price, you know, maybe somewhere 50, 60% of everything, you know, whatever.
Market's not very good at the moment. I keep hearing people keep saying that the market's right down right now.
It doesn't matter. Up, down, sideways, they're only going to be worth so much no matter what, you know. I mean, I
Yeah,
could have
for
sold
sure.
some of those at the high points, but again, what's $100? When $100 goes farther today than it did then for what I need, because I didn't need $100 then, so, you know, whatever.
Swings and roundabouts.
You know, I'm
All
gonna.
much of a muchness.
Can you message Bill or put a message in the thread that says, "Hey, Bill, are you coming on before we bail out?"
Well, he's left 4 messages saying I'll come on for a few. Then he's posted an atomic symbol 3 times,
Yeah,
and that was it.
yeah. If you could shoot a message on there that says, "Hey, Bill, we're gonna be off in 10 minutes if you're gonna come on." Because depending on where he is, he either has great Wi-Fi or no Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Of course, San Diego is just as close to Tijuana, Mexico, as it is to Los Angeles.
I saw some. I didn't actually watch the video, but I saw like a title of a video saying that San Diego was empty. So there was no one showed up, or was not very well attended this year. I don't know if that's true.
Well,
Or if
how
you
would
saw
they
anything
know,
like that.
considering that it doesn't start till tomorrow?
Oh, okay.
I mean, it starts
No
tomorrow.
idea then.
Now, they could have
Okay.
been talking about pre-sales because, again, it's ridiculous. They've outpriced the people. It's become a Hollywood thing, not a comic book thing.
Yeah.
You know,
How much they
like,
charge for a ticket now?
I mean, I get charging heavy prices to go into the halls and to do those things, but I think they should make that separate. I don't think it should cost a small fortune for a comic fan to go to the comic book part of that. And yet they jack up the hotel prices, price everybody out. And, you know, I think a whole part of that should be catered solely to the comic book fan that would like to go. You know,
Yeah,
somewhere on the
that ain't
West
gonna happen
Coast,
now, is it?
set beside
Comic
a couple
20
$100
name only,
and
really.
go. A comic convention that costs you $10,000 to spend a few days at is not worth going to.
Surely it's not as much as that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, how much is the hotel then?
4 days, hotel rooms, food, passes, and all that stuff. It's like taking a trip to Disneyland. You know, $5, $6, $7, $8,000. A good one, 10 grand. You know, but they'll buy a hotel for a week. Which again, you know, I'm sorry, they should have like $79 hotel rooms that 2 or 3 people can crash in. They should have comic book forum things where it's like $10 to get in. And then have the big stuff separate from that, not where the only way
people
you're going
can
to
buy
get
into whatever level they want to, basically.
Yeah.
If people want to go there for the, they pay extra for that. People just want a normal ticket.
You want to pay $1,000 to sit in Hall H for something you can see on TV in a day
Surely
and a half?
it's not as much as $1,000. Surely who'd pay that?
That's what it costs for decent seats to that stuff. The VIP accesses and things like that, just for one pass. Just for one pass.
They can stick that pass up their ass, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's just I would much rather spend that money on comic books, you know. And I want to meet nobody that bad. And the only time I'll pay for an autograph is when it involves charity.
No.
And that's it. That's it.
I go to London Comic Mart and there's no charge to get in. And that's the kind of price I like to pay.
Yeah.
Get in for free. I don't want to pay extra for blinking. I want to save all my money for the comics.
Yeah. Like if it's going to help somebody, like when Gary Friedrich was dying, I couldn't give him money quick enough. You know, if somebody's destitute, I'm all for it. If it's for the comic book hero initiative, I'm all for it. You know, if somebody says, you know, limit to 2 autographs, I get it. If somebody says I'm gonna charge you $150 for an autograph, kiss my ass sideways. For $150, I want a drawing and I want 10 minutes of your time. You know.
Did you see? I was watching Triple G's one of his pop culture ones that he does. He was saying that Jim Lee was charging huge amounts for sketches, literally off the charts, like a sort of thing that would get one. If he gets one customer, it would make his blinking week, kind of like. But no
Yeah.
one's going to be. It was like 10 grand or something stupid like that, or even
Well,
more.
and
for
I mean,
bloody
if you
well.
get something, if you're paying for a work of art, I get it. If you're paying for a 10-minute sketch, you're paying for a 10-minute sketch.
Yeah.
You know, if it's a doodle, I'll pay you for a doodle. I'll pay somebody $100 for a doodle. You know, a 10-minute doodle. I'd pay
wouldn't.
somebody if I wanted it that bad. I'd pay it because
Yeah.
their time is money.
Yeah.
But they're for $1,000, you better be painting me something. You know,
Exactly.
like those Steve Rude paintings. Yeah, $2,500. Absolutely. Absolutely. A 2-hour sit down painting session for a one of a kind, unique piece, worth it. A pencil
Yeah,
doodle.
if you got the money to pay
That'd be
for it.
like me telling people my poetry is worth $100 a poem. My poetry isn't worth a stray piece of toilet paper. You know, it isn't. It isn't worth it. But I've written things that have been published that probably have some value to them, but you know, I only have 6 fans, so not much competition there. But poetry for me is as easy to write as it is for Jim Lee to draw a superhero. You know, and the time it takes Jim Lee to draw a decent superhero, I could compose a song that's worth recording. But you know, that's still, if I think, well, my time for that, because it came so easy, is worth maybe $50. And it's not, you know, if it's a great thing that I spent months on and labored over and stuff, yeah, there's value there. But if it's something I can just go, okay, sounds good, put it out there. You know, that's nickel and dime. And it's the same thing, you know. Some guys are just quick with a pen. But nobody on planet Earth is worth $10,000 for an hour's work. Nobody. No living human being is worth that.
No.
The person who finds the cure for cancer isn't worth that. You know, and these guys make that all the time. How can you live with yourself thinking you're that valuable to society when what do you contribute?
Well, it's supply and demand, isn't it? If you can find enough people who, you know, enough demand, and they happen to be people with big pockets, then it's, you know, it can easily happen.
And the world has to live up to Jonas Salk. Polio ravaged the world. He said, here's the cure. Give it to the world.
Yeah.
You know, I make enough money as a doctor. I make enough money as a researcher. I'm well set. Give it to the world. And yet people still found ways to profit off of that. You know, shame on humanity. Here we go full circle again. Shame on humanity for that stupid shit. There should be doctors just 24/7 working on nothing but cures for these things. We would have long since had them. But they get tied up with red tape. They do a bunch of stupid shit. They funnel money differently. You know, just.
That's me.
They just bring in the profits. Pharmaceutical companies bring in the profits. These corporate boards and shareholders rake in all this money and profit off human suffering.
Literally here for the last 15 seconds. What have you got to say, Bill? We're finishing in 15 seconds.
Well, all I want to say is I'm in San Diego. Goodbye. See you next week.
Hi.
No, say more, say more, say more, say more.
Well,
Thanks for coming.
I'm gonna get to meet with CB Cebulski in a few minutes, so that's kind of cool. And he's the editor of Marvel, and we're tonight we start kind of putting all our eggs in one basket for the panels tomorrow and Saturday. So it's fun. You know, I'm a little
Yeah.
tired, but
Hey,
you know.
CB Cebulski is the biggest Easter egg in the Marvel video games from like 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. He's
So,
been at the helm for 12 years now, I think, if not
yeah.
longer. He's Stan Lee 13.
Yeah. I sat in his
So
chair once. It was an amazing thing, even though it was just a chair.
he's a really nice guy too. Just a
Yeah.
super nice guy.
Yeah, if I got to talk to him, that would be the first questions I'd ask him. What was it? What did it feel like going from like a video game meme, for lack of a better way to put it, to
That's our
where
room.
you in your hotel room?
Yeah.
So I was telling him like a VIP experience there for 4 days. What do you reckon it set somebody back? Close to 10 grand?
We'll get some hookers in Mexico.
Gee, my buddy said go get some hookers in Mexico.
Yeah.
No, if you're well,
Every visit includes free
VIP, good hotel.
well, VIP is
5 days
there's
stay.
not really such a thing as VIP so much, but I would say if you're going to get autographs and stuff, and you're going to get a decent room, it could set you back $400 a night for a room, if not more. More than that.
The ones I were looking at were like 560, 600.
Okay, so Phil says the rooms could be. Say hi, Phil.
What's
Hi,
up?
Phil.
Hi, Phil.
Is that anybody? Oh, wait.
It's the guys.
Hey,
Yeah,
what's up,
we're on the show.
Hi.
Cheers.
Cheers, dirty rats.
That's what I
But,
said. Like a 5 day decent hotel room stay is going to set you back more than 2 grand.
it will set you back.
This was full when Bill got here, but
And I have not had any of that yet. I'm drinking Stella. Do you have
Yeah.
Stella in the bottle? You better let
Where's
her
your
out.
purple haze?
Uh,
Where's your purple
I-
haze, mate?
I haven't found any yet. I'm gonna
I
have
think
to.
you
Oh
with
my
you.
God. Okay.
My God,
Phil
a butt
found the
plug or a
butt plug.
bottle
That is a
sealer?
butt plug. Why is there a butt plug in your face?
I think it's a bottle sealer, but don't quote me on it.
That was a
that's
butt
when
we-
plug.
butt
Why
plug.
is there a butt plug
that's
in
for
there?
door stopper. That's a door stopper, actually.
That's a
Oh,
butt
the door
plug.
stopper.
It's a butt plug. It is a butt plug. It's
What
it's
happens
Kirby's
in
fault.
what happens
It's
in
Kirby's fault.
San Diego stays in San Diego, I guess.
So well, see the con pays for our room, not my room and Pete's room, which we share a room, and then we've got Lee, my friend who's the colorist for Marvel. He's staying with us this year, and my other friend Steve Abrams is going to stay with us. So
Yeah.
our
How's the
room-
lettering going on that comic?
Dude, he's
Well,
The
we
slash
let another
tab,
guy
whatever it's
do it
called.
because I was having a real learning curve with it, but I will be
Okay.
lettering the next
Are you
issue. I'm also gonna
digitally
be-
lettering that or hand lettering it?
That was digital, baby.
Okay.
Yeah,
It looks alright, but I saw of it.
it looked pretty good. My first page looked way better than what they got, but I ran out of time. So,
You ever seen Orzakowski at work?
oh, dude, yeah. Well,
Absolute artist when it comes to
all of those
calligraphy.
guys now, for the most part, digitally letter, and they
Yeah.
have software that's basically their lettering style,
Yeah.
and they get it made for them, and that's what Rick Parker does.
Yeah.
So
I love Rick. Rick's mad at me
hopefully
'cause
I'll
I
get
didn't
to
have
meet
money,
I'll
but-
get to meet Rick tonight, and I think Tom may be here this year. I can't remember
Yeah.
if Tom Orzakowski's
Well,
here. But
if you see Rick Parker, tell him Underoo Wonder Man says hi.
Underoo what man?
Underoos Wonder Man.
Underoos Wonder Man. Okay.
He's the one that
That's
drew me
Pink
as
Tweedy.
Wonder Man and Underoos.
That's freaking nuts. That's off the hooks.
Oh, did he draw our caricatures?
No, that's a dude from Iowa. But
Oh, okay.
my Wonder Man and Underoos, that's me and my underwear in that Wonder Man pose. That's what Rick Parker did for me about 10 years ago.
Oh, that's cool. I
That's
got
from
you.
his Everyday Heroes or Sidewalk Superheroes. That is his Sidewalk Superheroes project. So,
Wow. I did not know that. Kyle, you've blown my mind yet again. But tonight I'll get to see all my friends. I'm gonna on Friday I'm gonna try to hang out with Kevin Van Hook. Kevin created Bloodshot, and he's also been an effects guy on many movies, and just a really nice guy. But it should be fun. Should be a fun weekend.
are you gonna ply them with cheap alcohol and butt plugs?
Yeah. Yes. No. No to the BFs. Even though I'm Bill Field. Yeah. But thanks, man. Thanks.
Are you,
I will.
you gonna be buying any comics while you're there?
Yeah, I probably will.
Should I show him what's in my box?
What's it like for
Okay.
comic
Okay.
vendors?
All right. Phil, of course, wants to do the Phil segment real
So
quick.
I brought some things to San Diego. I don't get a lot of stuff graded, but if it's stuff I'm not going to sell, I get it graded. And so here's my
Oh, let's have,
stats that I brought. This is
All
my
right.
see if
stats.
I can get in the big screen.
So we got Daredevil
Oh.
number 2. We got Iron Man number 1. We got little sweet Swamp Thing key issue.
Nice.
Spidey 300. Little Silver Surfer action. Some Galactus action.
Oh, hold on. Let
We
me go over.
got some more Galactus action.
Cool.
We got Daredevil number 1, a low grade. We got a
Cool.
good grade X-Men 1.
That's the one he got from me.
We've got a good grade Swamp Thing first appearance.
He got that from me too.
Nice.
And this is my Spider-Man number 8, which is my favorite issue of Spider-Man.
It's a great
Nice.
cover.
Cool.
This one
That's
I
some good
got.
book.
There's a guy that sells comics books. He's the drummer for System of a Down.
I don't know who's.
That's my phone.
All right.
And at the bottom of the box, we have first appearance of Man-Thing and Savage Tales.
Nice.
Cool.
So I brought some fun stuff, but I'm guarding this box because it's worth a little bit of money.
Well, he's kind of guarding it. He
I lost it. I actually lost it earlier, but I found it again.
Thank God. I was freaked
You got
out.
safe in your room.
No.
His box is a little fancier than the Golden Age stuff I showed off earlier.
Just a little fancier, yeah. Well,
There's a couple in there I wouldn't mind having.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Disturbing.
So you're getting them graded, did you say?
yeah, he's getting them graded.
Yeah, if I'm going to keep it and it's going in my personal collection, I get them graded so that way I can get insurance on them. You know, it's harder
Cost
to
a bit.
insure a non-graded book because it's
Yeah.
subjective. But,
Stay
like,
away from alcohol and butt plugs till you get those turned in.
Well,
I
at least the butt plugs.
Cheers.
Cheers, kink.
That's not mine. Where's my drink?
Hey guys, I'm gonna run. Have a great day, and I'll report everything that happened this week next week. Okay, guys.
See you
Okay,
later,
cool.
suckers.
Bye, guys.
Take pictures and share them, Bill.
I will. You got it, bud.
Hey,
See
and
y'all.
who's in those
Nice.
pictures with you?
That's my buddy Kirby, my friend Chris, our friend Katie, our friend Stacy, and Lee, and
Okay.
yeah,
Just buddies on the beach.
yeah.
Okay, well, if you're real bored, go to MCRD San Diego and tell them I said fuck off.
Okay, bud. I'll be happy to. Love you guys. Have a great day.
I'll go
Talk
in the
to you
screen
soon.
then.
Okay, guys. Bye, guys.
See you later, guys. I'm gonna end it here as well, Kyle.
All right.
Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next week. See you. Bye.
Showed some really good comics today for
You-
not
you
showing a
sure did.
comics day. Yeah.